Now, turning to the markets, Michael Lee is here. Michael, good to see you. Thanks for being here. The Wall Street Journal, Michael, says this morning that it looks like the Fed won the battle against inflation without a recession. I suspect you take issue with that, right?
Yeah, look, not even close, right? I think, a few different scenarios happen. The first is that the Fed does, as the Wall Street Journal explain, and wins the battle, and we have this quote-unquote soft landing, right? I equate soft landings to mythical creatures like Bigfoot and the Loch Ness Monster. They've never happened. So that leaves us with two other options, in that inflation, the Fed cuts too early and inflation reaccelerates. All right. And then the Fed is going to have to go through this whole cycle again. And that will be an ugly, ugly situation. Or the Fed takes the foot off the gas, doesn't ease quite as much, and we have persistently high inflation. And I think that's the likely scenario, that we don't get back to this 2% number, that we say stuck somewhere between 3 and 4%. And the Fed doesn't go back down to 0% interest rates or 1% or 2%. And then rates remain higher, but not as elevated as they were, say, 6 weeks ago. And, it's kind of the next person's problem if the election goes the other way and Biden doesn't stay in power. So that's my thought on that.
The Wall Street Journal, when it runs an article, it has the viewers or the readers' opinions about the article. I'm just going to read two. One was 2 words for you: food prices. The next one is, the problem is that the damage from inflation has already been done. I have trouble imagining the world in which the authors of this report live, but anyone who's saved conservatively and is living on a fixed income is damaged permanently. That's the problem. I mean, yes, inflation is slowing down right now, but over the long term, those high prices are still in effect, and they continue to inch higher. So that's particularly those folks on fixed income. They're having a terrible time.
David, that's it exactly. That we are in a situation here where those that are not in the top half of the income stratosphere have been absolutely devastated by the inflation that we've had. And so what you've seen is inflation solving the inflation problem, not the Fed, and that people just can't afford to buy stuff. Credit card debt at an all-time high. The default rate across all banks looks like a hockey stick. And amongst you take out the top 100, and delinquencies and defaults are at the highest levels ever. You look at the used car market; that's an unmitigated disaster. You'll start seeing some foreclosures soon, but I think we're not seeing it in the housing market simply because there's no inventory and there's just more buyers than sellers. But underneath the surface, for the bottom half of wage earners, the less fortunate in our country, have been devastated over the last couple of years. Yeah. And so I don't know that we'll get 2 quarters of declining GDP just because the government is spending so much money. But there's already been a recession ongoing in manufacturing and the leading economic indicators for the last 15 months. So we'll see how next year plays out, but I don't see anything getting better.
Okay. Well, I wish you, nevertheless, I wish you very happy holidays. Mike Lee, great to see you. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.